Hi VC, how you doing? Good evening, and hope you're well. This is a video which is a response to a thread that I found really interesting. It's from Tommy's Musical Adventures, and the thread is all about sharing 5 great debut albums. It's something that when I saw it, I thought that sounds quite straightforward. It sounds like an interesting one to do. I did find it interesting to do, but I didn't find it so straightforward. The reason I'm doing this video in the dark, it's not meant to be like this. Earlier on I was at a children's party. It was in a lovely location, and I sneaked out for a little while to start off my video. Unfortunately, when I get home, tried to put things together, didn't go so well. Things got a wee bit messy on the cutting room floor, so I'm out here after the event talking to you about something that happened earlier on today. I hope you get some sense out of it. Still getting to grips with the whole editing process, I suppose. Most important of all though, it was fun to jump on the thread, and a big thanks to Tommy at Tommy's Musical Adventures for sharing it out there in the first place. Anyway, enjoy, don't stay up too late. It's a very successful party, and what makes a successful party for a 6-year-old, you may ask? It's to have it in a large outdoor space on a brilliantly sunny day in a venue that has a well-stocked bar. So yes, thank you to the local cricket club. That was a brilliant day and all the adults left very happy. In fact, some of them are probably still there. Anyway, on with the videos. So first one, what? Videos? What are you talking about? I actually didn't have a drink at all. I am currently teetotal and keeping my beer tokens for vinyl. On with the albums. First one to show you is this monster classic from Led Zeppelin from 1969, released in January. The band all came out the blocks in the way that I think they made their mark. They stamped their identity on the musical landscape so well. It's one of those albums that I think certainly defines the band themselves, in the way that they moved on. Brilliantly put together as an album. Opener, Good Times Bad Times, just absolutely tremendous. Every member of the band on fire from the off and all the way through. So a couple of personal favourites for me. I love the opener, it's an absolute classic of course, but you've got things like Dazed and Confused to round off side A, and then I think in terms of thinking about the song order, flip the vinyl and we're into side 2. Track 1, Your Time Is Going to Come, with that amazing organ that just opens everything up. I like the more melodic acoustic numbers like Black Mountain side as well, but it's really one of those all colour, very little filler. I'm not sure if it's no filler at all, but a brilliant announcement of what Led Zeppelin are, and an awesome debut. Okay, choice number 2, and I'm moving forward to 1990. This is an album that I had on cassette at the time, and it is Some Friendly by the Charlatans. The Charlatans are a band that I really loved back in the day. So 1990, age 14, I'm buying this on cassette. It was on a family holiday in Scarborough, and I remember going into the shop, seeing that, going back out into the car and just playing it again and again and again and again. I'm not sure where the rest of my family were, but I was sitting in the car listening to this over and over. It's an album that I would still enjoy listening to now. The Charlatans went on, and I think they are still pretty active. They have released numerous albums since then, but this one for me just sums up a really sort of special time, that early, right at the start of the 1990s, that indie scene. I like the Charlatans particularly because of their organ, that the great organ playing sound there. It's one of those guys that was sent off to piano lessons from the age of 8, and I don't think that was considered to be very cool, but I loved learning to play the instrument. And then when the Charlatans come along, all of a sudden you hear that kind of Hammond organ vibe, and it's cool. So yeah, I loved that then, and I would say I still love this album now. Brilliant tunes on it, like Sprosting Green. What a great tune to close out on. Then absolutely brilliant. Some moody stuff like Flower. Yeah, the opener, You're Not Very Well. It's just packed with cracking tunes, and it's one that it brings back good memories for me as well. So next one comes from 1994, Crossing the Atlantic, and it's Nas's debut album Illmatic. This is one that back in the day I had this on CD. Probably didn't buy it until about 97, but I suppose that mimics my music buying media, if you like. The Charlatans was on cassette, and now I'm on to CDs, so Nas was on CD, and I think in common with the other two I've picked so far, it's a brilliant debut because it announces the artist on the musical landscape, fully formed, fully fledged, and in a brilliant kind of, you might say a brilliant state of mind, but just in a brilliant kind of incarnation of what they're going to become. It's filled with sort of classic Nas tracks, really brilliant production, I would say, all the way through. Nas is on amazing form all the way through it as well. Stuff like Life's a Bitch, New York State of Mind, The World Is Yours. Looking at that first side, it flows absolutely brilliantly, and it doesn't let up when you move on to the second side as well. Great tracks like One Love, One Time for Your Mind, and that sort of powerful closer, Ain't Hard to Tell. So I bought quite a bit of hip hop on CD round about 97 onwards, and Nas would have definitely been one of the first probably that I bought, and it was definitely one of the ones that I listened to the most. Picked up a couple of his albums on vinyl now, but I don't think anything really touches this one. So Nas, Illmatic. Okay, choice 4, and this is an album I would call a sort of Cinderella album in my collection. Cinderella album is an album that I overlook in favour of others, and it's kept in the shelf, it's kept in the dark too often. I felt Courtney Barnett's debut album, sometimes I sit and think and sometimes I just sit, is actually well worthy of being called a great debut, and it's something that I enjoyed pulling out when I thought about this thread. It's, as they all have been, it announces the artist in a really confident, cohesive, consistent way. I haven't got any other stuff by her since then, but I might change that because I've been listening to it quite a lot recently, and I really enjoy this. It's difficult maybe to quantify exactly what is the genre here. There's bits of almost sort of certainly lo-fi, there's some sort of slackery, stonery, it's witty, it's clever, it's catchy, it's all of those things at the same time. It's a bit garagey, all of that stuff's going on, so this is an album that's pretty easy listen. Some of it was quite reminiscent of music from a couple of decades before, I would say, but I really like it. So choice 4, coming out of the blocks really well, is Courtney Barnett's debut album from, is it from 2015. So, just about to round things off with my 5th and final Gimme 5 choice, and I have to say I found it quite tricky. I kept on thinking about an album that I would like to include, and then I'd say, oh, but you can't put that in because it doesn't quite fit the criteria that Tommy asked for. So I've stuck to that, but I wanted to quickly share ones that I'd thought of. I was going to share Melts, as a quick look at it. Brilliant Dublin band, pretty current. They've only got 2 out though, so that's what's knocked this one out. This was from 2022. Great kind of post-punk meets krautrock vibe. Really kind of powerful, part of a great Dublin scene, but I couldn't show it. And I'd also thought about showing off a smashing debut from a Leeds band, I think they're from Leeds, called Yobs, which is just pure hardcore kind of punky stuff, in your face from the off, really powerful, straight out there, short, punchy punk, but they've only got one album. I look forward to hearing what they come up with next, but I can't show it. I thought about showing the Wedding Present album that I've got, but it's not their first one, it's their second one. Bizarro's the second one. I got rid of my George Best a while ago. I thought about showing Echo and the Bunnymen, doesn't fit the criteria. But then I was saved by The Biscuit. So, great debut from Half Man, Half Biscuit. A band that are quite new to my own ears. How many albums have they got though? I'm not sure. Lots and lots and lots. I was introduced to them very recently through their current album, which was released this summer. This is their debut. Style's quite similar, I think. If you have a wee look at the song titles, you get an idea of what they're all about. It's really funny stuff, very very witty, very clever. Simple, I would say fairly simple music in the background, kind of nice indie guitar led stuff, upbeat vibes, but it's all about the lyrics and the lyricist, who's clearly a bit of a genius. So, Half Man, Half Biscuit for my final choice. Thanks very much for watching the video. It was great fun putting it together. Big thanks to Tommy for the original thread idea, which was something that I enjoyed having a think about. It allowed me to have a wee look through some of the darker recesses of my record collection, and I realise I need to give a bit more attention to some great stuff that I've got just sitting on the shelf. So thanks very much for that. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.